our plan for this year is to expand our garden growing space by 400%, which is insane. So what are you most excited about this year coming up about the farm?
Probably, I get to take care of goats. Like, I get to keep goats because I keep taking care of them. And I really love all the animals, and then I get to take care of all of them. And planting a lot of stuff because we're gonna have like a garden back there, and back there, and back there. We're gonna have so much garden and so much food.
It is a lovely afternoon, and we are gonna go check on the little baby goats. Hi, all you noisy boys. We're gonna go see how they're doing in the new lamb bar drinking system that I put up for them. And I put more milk than they needed into it, and we will see how they're doing. Let's check on the triplets. We're planning some really big changes this year, and I kind of want to show you what we're doing because I'm really excited about it.
I was dreaming one thing that I really want.
Yeah, tell me.
Is to work at a science lab.
A science lab?
Because then I can take samples from animals and then I can make my own dinosaur. And then dinosaurs will live again.
So last fall I put in this permanent fencing over here, electric goat fencing, and then I have posts to do another yard here. But until I get that up, what we're gonna do is I'm going to build a chicken coop that's gonna go down here, and then they will have a contained yard within the goat's yard. I think that's what I'm gonna do for right now. And so I've got fencing for that, and I'm going to put it right here. We are getting, I've got baby chicks in the brooder right now, and I've got more on the way in a couple of weeks. We're getting 31 more, and I've got turkeys in there. I don't know if you could tell, the lighter ones were turkeys. So we're gonna breed some turkeys. I've got new layers for eggs, and then these guys, some are young, some are old. There's a really mixed flock. Some I got from a friend in another town. He was downsizing, so those birds are actually quite a bit older than even my first group of birds, which are like at the end of their laying prime. And but as you can see, they're great for tilling, and they're great for pest management, and we mostly like to have them around for ticks. That frees up all of this area back here where their old chicken house is, and the old rabbit house that needs torn down, and this was the original goat barn that's in the process of being torn down now that it's a bit warmer outside. That's getting pulled apart, and I'll use all the pieces for that to build the chicken house. We like to recycle everything we can, and I try not to leave the farm for any reason if I don't have to. So this whole yard will be freed up, and our plan for this year is to expand our garden growing space by 400%, which is insane and gonna be a huge task, but I'm really looking forward to it. The kids are really excited, especially now that we're doing school here instead of at school. There's a lot more for them to do now that we're busier here. So we're going to till up a big area back here that will be garden, as well as some other new places.
I'm excited about, I can think of it, there's so many things.
Over here we have the kids' play area, and that will stay where that is. This is the boundary of where the goat fencing will go, and that goes pretty much straight back, and then all this space here is for the kids. This hill, however, gets great drainage. We're going to till up this area here, as well as this space at the side of the house, and that will be a garden. All along the front of the house here, we're going to plow up a strip basically that goes straight across the front of the house for a garden here. We've got apple trees planted in a row here, and 2 apple trees, a cherry tree, and something else I forgot. I don't remember. Fruit trees in the front. What is something that you're looking forward to about the farm for this year?
Getting a horse.
Getting a horse? Who's getting a horse?
Yeah.
With what dinero, son?
I think he thinks...
Money? For you getting all this money for a horse?
Isn't this the separate question, if I had all the money?
Yeah. I was just dreaming. So we can dream about a horse. And here we are in last year's garden. And I had started putting up a fence, got really busy with goats, etc., and the fence went to the wayside, which is a good thing because since we're changing plans for this year, it would be really impossible if we had the fence up at that point. In this garden space, I've got a tall post here, and I will put this gate will be here, and then from this tall post straight back on that side will all be perennial stuff. And I do have some perennial things planted in here. Of course, nothing's growing at the moment, so you can't tell, but I've got lavender planted in here, I've got mint planted in here. My garlic, I have 93 heads of garlic that are coming up over here. Here's the little garlics coming up in the ground here. And in this space last year, I had kale in the corner and lettuces in the corner, but I've pulled those out. And then in that space in the corner, I will be planting asparagus with the kids, hopefully this week when it warms up a bit. I think we're supposed to get rain tomorrow, but maybe that's something we can do this afternoon. It is quite chilly today, but I think the ground is workable enough that we can get the asparagus in. So the asparagus is going to go in the corner there. Hopefully I can get it all in. I've got 15 crowns of asparagus to put in. But everything over here is going to be perennial. And there will be a walkway around the outside and some space in between to walk. Along the fence line, I will be planting berries. So I've got some grapes in. I don't know if they actually took. So we'll see if they come back. If not, I'll just replant with something else. But along the fence line, along this fence line, all the way to the end of where we decide to stop, will all be berries. Raspberries, I have raspberries planted down here, and those will all be berries. And then a walkway, and then the rest of the garden. And last year I had big posts up in the center rows, and it was a nice experiment. It didn't quite work the way I wanted it to work, so I'm going to tweak that. These posts are going to come out as soon as the ground softens up a little bit. They're kind of stuck down at the very bottom, so those are going to come out. And then basically everything from the perennial side back as far as we can go, everything is going to get plowed again, and rethinking this whole side of the garden. Having gone through last growing season, I kind of know that this back section gets a lot of shade from these trees once they fill out. So I have a better knowledge now this year of what crops to plant back there and what to plant over here. I had some tomatoes over there. Obviously they suffered a lot due to a lot of issues, but they needed to be more out here, which is where I had them the year before that, and they did really, really well. And I even neglected the heck out of them and they did great. The last space is on the other side of our driveway. We don't have a ton of land. This other land is doesn't belong to us, but it belongs to our neighbors, and they're very great they let us graze the goats out here and stuff. It was really wonderful last year. So I plan on planting to the boundary, and it goes back quite a ways, all the way back into the trees back here. So we're gonna plant grains all through here. This year we're gonna try our hand at grains. I found this really awesome dry land rice that actually was cultivated here in Maine, and I'm super excited to get that. So when Luke and I lived in Japan before we had kids, we had the opportunity to harvest rice out of the fields, and it was just so cool. But again, this is a dry land rice. There's no rice paddies, so we're gonna see how that does here. We also got 2 different varieties of amaranth to plant, so we're hoping to get a lot of grain this year. You're a smart cookie, Naomi.
I am. They lived here before us, and they might live here after. And they will live here after us.